All right, back in live with you tonight here on In Focus. The DA in the City of Johannesburg wants council to be dissolved so fresh elections can be held. It comes as Mayor Kabelo Kwamanda faces an Action SA-sponsored motion of no confidence, which Al-Jamaa leader Hanif Hendrik says has no merit. DA Johannesburg Caucus leader Belinda Kayser-Echeozonjoku joins us now for more. Belinda, good to have you. Thank you very much for coming on. Previously, when this particular issue was raised, for example, by province in the city of Tshwane, it had to be taken to court, and the court said there are three requirements that would certify a call for a fresh election: a failure, or at least to dissolve the municipal council. One, a failure by the municipal council to fulfill an executive obligation. The dissolution must be likely to ensure the relevant executive obligation will be fulfilled, and that the provincial government considers less restrictive means. Are any of those conditions currently prevailing in the city of Johannesburg for you to be calling for the dissolution of the municipality?
Good evening, Thabo, and good evening to the residents of Johannesburg, to all the viewers. We believe, as the DA, that the fact that we are on our almost fifth motion of no confidence in a mayor, it justifies for the people's voices to be heard. Clearly, what's happening in the city of Johannesburg, I mean, you can just see what's happening with the roads. And I don't know if you've seen that the other day we went to the CBD where we had the explosion. Nothing is being done. Service delivery is collapsing. And the current parties that are in the council are not servicing the residents. So clearly some of the mandates of the executive is not being executed. So we believe it's justified to ask for the people to speak and give us a clear mandate of who they want to govern the city of Johannesburg. 18 parties have contested in 2018 and 2021, and of those parties, some of the smaller parties who have much of a lesser mandate from the residents are now in charge of the city and clearly do not have the interests of the city, of the residents of the city at heart. And that's why we believe that the only way residents will be able to have their voices heard is to go to fresh elections.
So, okay, we'll come to the extent of the failure, but let's firstly talk about what you're saying. We are in our seventh motion of no confidence. That's a function of political parties. It's not a function of residents of the city. It's political parties politicking, fighting among themselves on who's going to be in power. So it's not necessarily an indication of executive failure more than it is of expediency within political parties to get their hands on the wheels of power.
Thabo, let's not forget that the executive had been voted in by voters. Those political parties have been voted in by voters, by residents. And the mayor with his executive have failed. And that it's not necessarily just the politicking. It's precisely because of the politicking that we feel that we should go out, get a fresh mandate, and see if the residents are happy with the first choice that they have, that previously have made it obviously has not given a clear mandate. So the politicking, we believe, is why we should go back to the ballot box. And perhaps now, when residents have seen how coming out, not coming out to vote is the consequence of some of these coalition agreements, and where people use the coalition agreements to be in it for themselves. So we believe that as much as it's politicking from these political parties, those political parties have been put into those positions by voters, so the voters can still make a different decision if we take it back to them.
So the court says failure to fulfill executive obligation must be stated unambiguously, right? In other words, you should clearly point out the extent of the failure and stating the steps that are required to meet the obligations that have not been met. So if you were to sit here today and speak about that, what would you say? Because we had, for example, Dara Morero the other day here, who says collections in the city have actually improved and the financial stability of the city has been restored.
It's unfortunate that the MMC of Finance, Councillor Dada Morero, is not being entirely truthful, because we've had an engagement with COCTA, the Parliamentary Oversight Committee, that wanted to come and check what exactly is happening in Johannesburg. And what COCTA had mentioned in that oversight engagement was that the City of Johannesburg useless, fruitless, irregular and fruitless expenditure has increased by 44% since this coalition came into place. The budget that he had told the residents had been passed is actually illegal, because that the COCTA had in that engagement said that the budget is unfunded, and they have denied that. So now they have used the revaluation as an opportunity to recoup the money that they have failed to collect, it's unacceptable that, for me, in that sense, for us as the DA, it shows clearly that they have not fulfilled their mandate, and that is definitely grounds for the dissolution of council. In 5 months, I can assure you...
You're saying, hold on, you're saying the claim that the city is on the road to collecting 91% of its revenue needed to ensure the 80.9 billion rands budget is a lie.
It's a lie. It's a lie, and the fact that not the executive mayor, but the MMC of Finance is not forthcoming with the Section 71 reports that we have requested over and over again from him as the MMC is not forthcoming. If he is really on his road to recovery and getting to 90%, then he should not be scared or shy to give us those Section 71 reports so we can see on a month-to-month basis where the city is on its collection.
But is that not where you're going to get unstuck? Because, I mean, the courts are very clear to say you need to ensure that all the other steps have been taken that are required to before you meet the obligation of a dissolution. So if there are still other steps that you can take, why would you not take those instead of calling for a dissolution?
You are sitting with a motion of no confidence on Tuesday, which already brings instability in the city, which also could impact on the very collection that MMC Morero is talking about. And I can tell you, some of those instabilities are caused by themselves, because they want to pull the strings in the background and be able to be in control and have access to the purse of the city for the elections. So clearly, he's not being truthful, and instability is going to continue. There's going to be another motion of no confidence. Whether this one fails or succeeds on Tuesday, I can assure you we're going to have a merry-go-round of mayors. And for us, in our opinion as the DA, that in itself is room and is sufficient grounds to ask for the dissolution, so the power can go back to the residents of Johannesburg who put people like Councillor Morero and Councillor Gwamanda in office.
Well, I mean, if we look at that, the people of the city are the ones who didn't give the DA an outright mandate. They didn't give any party an outright mandate. They were not interested in any party having an outright mandate. They said, go and work together. It's a failure of political parties to work together and make it work. They are the ones who are calling for motions of no confidence.
I would disagree, Thabo, because even though if you've seen the number of people that came out, you will see that in 2021 the number of people that came out to vote was much less. A lot of people came out didn't come out to vote out of protest because they were not happy with what's happening. And we're saying this is a second opportunity for residents of Joburg to come and give a clear mandate, because they have seen the instability that happens with the merry-go-round of mayors that doesn't even have a clear mandate, and that currently we're having people that are having champagne parties like the PA and things like that, while roads and services are falling apart. So clearly for us that is enough to say, residents, okay, you did not come out in 2021. Let's encourage everybody else who have not voted to please come out and make your voice heard. The power must come back to the people, and they can now give us a clear mandate. If they say that it's either the DA or the ANC or the EFF, but at least we would have a clearer picture of who can then govern the city, or at least with a bigger margin.
Why do you think that that picture would be vastly different?
Because what's happening at the moment in the city is that clearly the people that are in charge of the city are the people who have created the problem, which is the ANC for the past 30 years. And we believe that there's going to be a very different outcome, because we were seeing some minimal changes despite the disruptions that the ANC has created when Dr. Palatse was still in government, when the DA and its coalition partners were still in government. We've seen a slight improvement, and we hear it daily from the residents as well. And that is why we are saying that if residents have another opportunity to this time encourage their neighbors, their aunties, their cousins to come out and vote, then we will have a different outcome, because the very same people who have created the problem over the past 30 years are the same people that is digging Johannesburg into a bigger hole than it already is. Yeah. And that's why we're saying the people, power must come back to the people, and they must come out and vote, and that is why we are calling for the dissolution of this chaos that is happening currently in the city of Johannesburg.
But what if one puts it to you to say the results of the by-elections recently would not bear what you say? In fact, the ANC holding on to its wards as the people came out to vote for them.
I can tell you in Ward 102, the DA won with a 94%. That is overwhelming. I mean, the ANC hasn't even featured in the recent by-elections in Johannesburg.
But it didn't lose wards, so it's not going to change their situation.
I disagree with you, because I believe that even in the wards where the ANC was strong, you could see a reduction in the number of people that have come out to vote, and also in their support. It has definitely reduced.
All right. So you will be amending that. Is it by agreement with Action SA? That motion will be amended?
We will let you know on Tuesday. You will see in council. We will proceed with that because we believe that we might even put a fresh motion in calling for the dissolution of council.
All right. DA Caucus leader there in the city of Johannesburg, Belinda Kayser-Echeozonjoku there. They will be doing that on Tuesday. We'll see how that outcomes is going to pan out. Stay with us. We'll update you on what's happening in the news in a moment. Stay with us.